record for our friendos that couldn't make it tonight so that they will have an opportunity to watch this. So what I typically do for these meetings is I will record them and then I'll put them on the Facebook page. So I'll put the link to the Facebook page and then I'll usually send out an email following up from these as well. So my name is Liz. Hello, welcome to tonight's meeting. It's good to see everybody. We have a few other folks I want to introduce. Serafina, who's that way on my screen, but I don't know where she is in real life. Serafina is my co-leader. So we have enough folks on this trip where we're gonna have two groups. So I'm going to be in charge of one group and Serafina is going to be in charge of the other group. So Serafina is my co-leader. And then it looks like I do have two of our chaperones in our meeting tonight as well. So I see Amy and Holly. And Amy and Holly are service unit managers, troop leaders, cookie coordinators, all the things, and have been part of Girl Scouts for a long time. And they are currently the Liverpool service unit. So if you are in Liverpool, you probably know Holly or Amy. So that's the crew that we've got tonight. This is just a quick hey there, hi there, get to know you, welcome back. We're going to the Galapagos in 240 days or whatever it is. I forgot to check. What is it? Who knows? Wait, let me check real quick. Rolling 241. Oh my gosh, I was so close. I must have subconsciously saw that somewhere because that was a really good guess. So 241 days, we're going to be in the Galapagos, which is super exciting. So tonight, I just want to touch base on a couple of things that I thought were interesting. We're going to play a little this or that to get folks sort of, I want to know you. I want to get to know you before we go on this trip. So we're going to play a little game and we're going to see a little PowerPoint. And then we're going to talk about future meetings and what's going to happen between now and July. Does that sound good? All right. There's only 12 of us on this call. So if you are into it and you feel good about it, turn on your camera. If you want to unmute, you certainly can unmute to ask questions. If you want to put questions in the chat, you certainly can do that. And Serafina is going to watch the chat so that we make sure to answer them. But at least for this first part, if you would like to turn your camera on, have you ever played this or that before? Or yeah. I don't know what else it's called, but so I'm going to, this is this or that travel edition. So I'm going to say two things. And if you prefer the first thing I said, hold up your little one fingy. And if you prefer the second thing that I said, you can hold up two of your fingers for that. Okay. Oh no, there's more people. Come in. Woo. All right, here we go. So here we go. Travel edition, this or that. Are you ready? I am not, but you are. All right, here we go. This or that. So ready is first thing, hold up one. The second thing, hold up two over here. Ready? So mountains or beach? Do you prefer to travel to the mountains or to the beach? Oh, all right. We got a couple of mountain folks in here. We got a couple of beach folks. Excellent. Very good. Peaks. Serafina's camp name is Peaks, if you've been to any of our Girl Scout camps. And so therefore, I would imagine that she would choose mountains, right? Excellent. All right, good. Pack light or overpack? Oh, I see some overpacking. We're gonna have to work on that between now and July of next year. So yep, I'm a light packer. I guess it depends though. This time I'm gonna be a light packer, and so are you, and we're gonna learn how to do that together. Lunch in a family fancy restaurant or street food, like from some guy with a cart. I'm gonna go with number two. Because if you know me at all, you know what I want to eat when we get there. Anyone remember? Yes, I see, Lily, I saw you mouthing guinea pig. But they're not really guinea pigs. They're not pets. They're called cavies in real life. And that's the end of that. Okay. Okay, use a map or wander aimlessly. Use a map or wander aimlessly. What do you prefer? Very good. Yeah, I gotta have a map. I like to pretend that I'm easygoing, but I'm not. Very good.
I love that our two chaperones are like, we're just gonna wander around aimlessly. And then you and I are like, we're gonna use a map.
Remember when you get assigned to those people's groups and you're like, where are we? On the upside, we're gonna be on a bunch of islands, so there's not gonna be a lot of places to wander to. Would you rather bungee jump or scuba dive? Bungee jump or scuba dive? Wow, all right. Couple of bungee jumpers here. Hey, that sounds terrifying to me, but I'm gonna go with scuba diving. Nice. Good, good. All right, bungee jumpers. Would you prefer to carry a backpack or a suitcase? Backpack or suitcase? This goes along with the light packing or overpacking part of it, right? Very good. All right. How about, would you prefer to take photos or keep a journal? Yeah, me too. Oh, we got one journal taker. Oh, nope, you changed your vote. Yeah, I prefer to take photos too. You can ask Amy how many photos I took while we were in Italy and Greece. It was a lot. It was like 1,000. And they're also on my phone. Yay. Thank God for the cloud, right? Okay, here's another one that's going to be telling. Would you rather plan it or wing it? Plan it or wing it? I see a couple of number twos there. Oh, good. Okay, we got some planners here. I like to see those number ones for the chaperones. Nature or culture? So would you rather be immersed in nature or would you rather learn about like the ancient Romans? Yeah, I can't decide. I'm with you, Amy. Because like if you're in Rome, you got to learn about the ancient Romans, and there's not a lot of nature there. But if you're in the Galapagos, that's it. You're learning about the nature, right? So I guess it depends where you are. We'll give you that one. Ooh, this is a good one. Food you know or food you don't know? Food you know or food you don't know? Yeah, good. I see a lot of twos. That's excellent. We're gonna try new things. Lily, is there something in Japan that you tried that you thought maybe looked not good or you weren't thinking you were gonna eat, but then you did?
The octopus balls that we got, the takoyaki,
Yes,
it was really good. And
it
the
was
fish with
very good.
faces. The
Yep.
fish with faces was also.
The fish with faces and the octopus balls. Yes. Amy, how about in Italy and Greece? Was there anything that you tried in Italy and Greece that you were a little sketchy about?
I don't think I was. I was open to everything, but we didn't have anything with faces on it, so
That
it
is a
was
valid
safer
point.
than the Japanese cuisine. No, I was up for anything, and it was all fabulous. So
Amazing. Has anybody out there in the audience tried anything that they thought was maybe not good looking at the time, but then you ate it and you were like, yes, I love that. Anybody out there? I will have to say the octopus balls was one of mine. It's like a fried, it looked like a donut, but there was an octopus piece in the middle of it. And then there was like seaweed and sauce on top of it. And yeah, it was good though.
It was the suckers the size of my thumb that got to me on that one. I tried it, it was really good, but they freaked me out a little bit.
Yep, it sure did, but they were delicious. Anybody out there in the land of trying new foods? No, all right.
I
Well,
had alligator once,
oh,
but it looked
alligator,
just
yeah.
like
You've ever been
chicken.
to like the New York State Fair? You can have like alligator and kangaroo and shark. I ate shark once. I did not like it. It was too sweet. It was very sweet, which was I was not expecting that at all. It was kind of a weird thing. All right, the last question I have for this or that before we get into our presentation here. Oh no, I left it. Doesn't matter. I can remember. Sunrise or sunset? Yeah, sunrise or sunset? Uh-oh, not a lot of sunrisers here. Reagan looks like the only person holding up one finger. Oh, Holly, do you have one finger? You're a sunriser? All right, good. So as you are about to see a little bit in my presentation here, we're gonna have to be early risers on this trip. So this is one thing that we can work on over the next couple of months before we go on this trip. There's going to be some very early boat rides that we're gonna be taking between islands on this trip. So there you go. All right, everyone go? That was fun. Next time we're going to play a super fun Would You Rather edition, travel edition. So get ready for that one in December. I love a good Would You Rather. Yes, exactly. All right. Anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns as we get going? I see lots of new people, new faces coming in. I'm letting folks in as we go. Like I said, this is just to kind of get to know you. Hi, how are you doing? Who's got concerns, etc. Are you going to ask about carry-on luggage?
Me? No.
Yeah.
I was just curious, what is our current count of people who are registered to go?
That is a great question. So our current count is 47 people traveling.
Ooh, that's girls and chaperones.
That is girls and chaperones. Yep. So we're
Excellent.
pretty close to
Okay.
50. We are still taking folks. So if you know, I know it's like short notice now at this point, but we will take travelers up until March. So if you have someone that you know who might want to go to the Galapagos, we still can take folks. So if you're at all interested, feel free to give me an email. Let me know. Lily, you just signed up recently. Lily went to Japan with us and had a great time. And has now decided to come back and go to the Galapagos with us. So that's super cool. So very exciting. And Amy went to Italy and Greece with us. So that's good too. And now you're back for more. We love it.
And
See,
that
that's
was a
how we
much
get
smaller
you.
group.
Coming back.
That was a much smaller group. So this will be
smaller.
interesting, and I'm excited.
Very good. All right. So as I mentioned, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to put them in the chat. And Serafina is watching the chat so that we make sure to address those. And let's see here. I'm going to get my share screen if I can figure this out. Because, you know, it's Sunday. It's like a 4-day weekend for us. My kiddos were off on Thursday and on Friday. Did you guys have a couple of days off here for the Veterans Day weekend? Yeah. So that's fun. I love it. Oh no, show all my windows. Why do I have 47 windows open? I always have that many windows open. I don't like it. All right. Please hold. Let me close out some of my windows. So many. PowerPoint up and going. We're gonna share it. So as you get to know me over the next couple of months or so, you'll see that this happens a lot, and I talk to myself quite a bit. That's how I get myself through these things, these hardships when I don't know how to share my screen. Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. All right, and you can see that, right? I feel like I'm going to be channeling a lot of Linda Belcher throughout these things too, with a little, all right, if you're a fan of Bob's Burgers. From the beginning, let's go to the Galapagos. It's going to be super fun. So our dates actually have been set. So we are going July 10th through the 18th. Those are set dates. So our tour consultant has confirmed them. Remember in the beginning, I don't know, like 2 years ago, when I was like, make sure you reserve a window of dates because you never know what's going to happen. We don't have to do that anymore. It is July 10th through the 18th. We know we're going. So mark those down. So on the agenda today, we're going to talk about just a little bit of an introduction, a quick reminding of what's going to happen. We already played this or that, so check that off. We're going to talk about future meetings and what those are going to be like. And then I have a holiday gift guide for you as well, because we're getting close to the holidays. And there are some things that you're going to need on this trip, and they're a great opportunity for you to ask folks that you know. If you have people in your life that give you presents, it might be a good opportunity to get some gifts. Uh-oh, this or that. We already did that, but look at that beautiful picture. Is that going to be us? I don't know. More to come in 241 days. I think that's a sunrise. I want to say that's a sunrise. Yeah, I think it is. Great. So just as a quick reminder of what's going to be happening, this is our trip. We're going to be flying into Quito, which is located in Ecuador. It's the capital city of Ecuador. And from there, we're going to be flying to a place called Baltra Island. It's the place where the airport is in the Galapagos. And then from there, we're going to be taking boats, lots and lots of boats. I have pictures of the aforementioned boats to show you, just so that we make sure that you see the boats and you know about the boats, because there's boats, lots of boats. So when we fly into Ecuador, we're going to spend a day and a half or so there, just kind of getting oriented and hanging around. We're going to go to the Equator Museum, which I'm very much looking forward to. I should have linked it here, but definitely go onto the Equator Museum website and poke around. It's weird, and I'm excited. And then we're going to hit the road and we're going to head to the Galapagos. So the weird thing about this trip, or the cool thing about this trip, is when we're in the islands, breakfast, lunches, and dinners are provided. So typically when we go on an EF tour, we are free for lunch, and we can just kind of go out and do our thing and find our own food and that sort of thing. But resources are limited in the islands. So it is my understanding that we are going to be provided with meals while we're in the Galapagos as well. And we're going to talk about tipping and spending money and those things as we get a little bit closer to the trip. So a couple of quick things planning for our trip, just to get you thinking about what's going to be happening. I wanted to mention a few things tonight, especially. So this is what I would consider a level 3 trip. It's going to be pretty active. So there's going to be lots of walking. The islands are not, they're going to be sort of populated now because there's tourists, right? But there's not a lot of infrastructure here with these islands. It's all about nature. It's all about seeing volcanoes and craters and animals and beaches and that sort of thing. So there's going to be lots of walking. There's also going to be lots of snorkeling. I put swimming in there because I want to make sure that you know that there's going to be a lot of water involved with what we're doing. Swimming, maybe not necessarily. So when you're snorkeling, you have your mask on and your little snorkel, and you're just sort of floating right in the water, and you've got your face down so that you can see into the water. So it's not necessarily like hardcore swimming, but it's definitely like you got to be able to get yourself out to where we're going to be snorkeling and maneuver yourself around in the water. So if you're not a strong swimmer, or perhaps you are a little bit nervous about this type of thing, I would encourage you to start swimming now. I live in Syracuse, so there's a city pool called the Valley Pool that is free. You can go to the Valley Pool and you can swim around and use the pool. I'm going to start doing laps pretty soon, I think. There are YMCAs. If you're a member of YMCAs, a lot of them have pools. It would be a great idea to do a little swimming, I think, over the winter time, if you have access to that, if you have the opportunity to do so. And if you live near a city or a city center, there could be that there's a pool where you are as well. You just might have to do a little bit of digging. So as I mentioned, start your exercise routine now. Take a walk around the block every day just to get your blood flowing and yourself used to walking. Maybe if you have a treadmill or an elliptical in your house, use that for a little bit. Try to get out there, try to get walking, try to get exercising. It's really going to be 10 or so days of intensive walking. And Amy, I don't know if you were on mute before, if you unmuted yourself. Did you want to talk about the walking? Or Lily and Chrissy? I remember now I'm recalling as well that Chrissy was on our trip too. You are on mute, Amy.
I'm new here. Yeah, in Italy and Greece a year and a half-ish ago, we did a lot of walking. From the day we arrived, I totally agree with what Liz said. Get yourself conditioned ahead of time. You don't have to have a grueling workout, but make sure that you're pretty decent as far as walking at a brisk pace. Sometimes we had to have our tour guide kind of slow down a bit just so we could keep up. We didn't leave anyone behind, but it's a lot of walking. So, and I can't attest to the swimming with this trip, but because any swimming we did was very leisurely in Italy and Greece. But yeah, absolutely get yourself conditioned and make sure you've got well broken in comfortable walking shoes well ahead of time. You don't want to go taking new shoes. We had someone who bought some new shoes when we went to Italy, and she walked like a baby giraffe, and we thought she was going to break her ankle. You know who I'm talking about, Liz.
Yep, I do.
So sensible, comfortable shoes. They don't have to be grandma shoes, but make sure that you've got, whether they're sneakers or hiking shoes or Birks or something like that, but make sure they are well broken in. Don't get new shoes just to go. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, that's a great point. So my recommendation, and I'm part of a Facebook group that is full of group leaders who have already done this trip. And so their recommendation too is something like a Tiva or a Chaco sandal. The ones with the straps that you can really like pull on your foot and make it nice and tight. If you have sandals like that you already wear, that you're familiar with, great. Bring them. They're going to be great for you on this trip because they dry fast. You can get them wet. You can go from land to water, that sort of thing. If you don't have a pair of those, it's on the holiday gift guide. It's a great thing to ask for because some of them, like the Chacos, I know can be a little bit expensive. But there's sales now because it's winter and nobody wears the sandals in the wintertime. So go on and try to find them now. But if you know what sandals you want to wear on the trip, walk in those. if you're in your house, if you're on a treadmill, if you're walking the mall or doing whatever, do they still do that? I remember there were like mall walkers in the 90s. Oh my gosh, I'm old. So wherever you're walking, if you can wear the shoes that you're going to wear on the trip, even better, because then you'll know how they feel. You'll know, like I talk about Choco toe a lot. I get my Choco toe because I have a toe strap on mine. And so my big toe always gets a blister on the top, right where that strap is. So the more I wear them, it's better. I get a callus there. But I know that happens to me. So I have to be careful of that when I wear those sandals. So the more you can wear the shoes that you're going to pack, the better. And you can troubleshoot where you might get blisters. July, and on our trip to Japan and obviously in Italy and Greece, it was super, super hot. It was in the 100s for much of the time that we were in these places. It's not going to be like that in the Galapagos. It is the cool season in the Galapagos because they're below the equator. So they kind of flip-flop seasons. It's cool. It's pleasant. I think the high is usually about 76 degrees or so. I don't know about the humidity. It looks like the humidity is kind of low there, but it's not going to be super hot, which is great. The one thing I will mention though is that we're right on the equator. So even if you're a person who like gets tanned and I never get burned, I've never got a sunburn in my whole life, don't say that and go to the Galapagos and not bring sunblock. Please bring some sort of sunblock. You probably will get burned in some capacity. Our northern skin is just not used to that sort of intense heat. So while it might not be hot, the sun is going to be very intense. So we'll keep that in mind, but that's also on the gift guide. So yeah, just that little paragraph there, sunglasses, sunscreen, sun hat. I plan to bring a couple of different pairs of sunglasses and a couple of hats just in case. So even though it might be cloudy and a little bit cooler, it's still going to be intense sun. So any questions, comments, concerns? I can't actually see the comment section though, Serafina, so I'll rely on you to relay any comments here.
There hasn't been any comments yet.
Okay.
But folks should not be scared. I'm watching. It's okay. You can comment if you want.
Excellent. So here on the next slide here is just our meetings for 2024. So the plan is to meet once a month from now until the day we leave, essentially. So the next month we have is December. We're going to learn a little bit more about the islands, geology, weather, culture, etc. In January, I plan to talk a little bit about some animals, and if you want to do some homework, I would love it if I didn't have to talk about all the animals. It'd be super cool if you could pick an animal that you want to see on the islands and come to the group to chat about it. I would love to learn more from you all. I have read that it's like the beginning of breeding season for seals, and there's more whales than usual in the oceans around this time because the cooler weather makes the algae grow in the ocean a little bit better. So during this time of year, there's going to be more active wildlife. So I'm hoping that's really the case. In February, we're going to learn about Ecuador, even though we're not going to be there for very long. There are still some sites, like we're going to be in a city center, so we'll want to learn some cultural parts about Ecuador. And we'll also touch on some Spanish phrases that we might want to know while we're there. The Ecuador and the Galapagos all use the US dollar as their currency, so we're not going to have to worry too much about exchanging money and worrying about that sort of thing. So we're going to talk about all of those trip essentials in March. So we're really going to focus on packing 101, what to bring, money, tipping, credit cards, all of those things that you will want to know for your trip. We're going to talk about those in March. In April, we're going to talk about health and safety, and I have a whole bunch of forms for everyone to fill out and bring back to me, including 3 color copies of your passport. So those things will be due in April. In May, we're going to finalize our trip. So by this time, we should have our flights, our hotels, timing. We should really know everything there is to know about this trip and how we're going to go to the Galapagos, including behavior and chaperone responsibilities and all of those things. June is a mandatory in-person meeting. So at that time, we're going to be doing just sort of get together, like we're going to get together to get to know each other in person. I'm going to be collecting any outstanding paperwork that you all owe me, making copies if I need to. We're going to have some food from Ecuador. So we'll get some Ecuador specific or South America specific food to try, and just kind of meet each other and see who's in what group and that sort of thing. So that one in June is mandatory. As we get a little bit closer, I'll be sending out a Google poll, or what's that poll thing that I use? What is it? I don't know, whatever the poll thing is, and I send it out and you send it back. Doodle, not Google. Doodle.
Doodle.
I
Yeah,
was so close. I was right there. Doodle poll that I'll send out to make sure that we all can agree on the same dates, because I know that there's like graduations in June and things like that. And then July, we will go and it will be amazing. So here's the part where I tell you now to get your passport. If you don't have your passport, you need to get it and get it right now. Put your paperwork in. It takes a really long time for you to get your passport. Here's what happened in Japan. So last spring in March was the final date to get passport information. And so the website is mid-March-ish. So I said, get your passports in, make sure you have your passports. And a couple of folks maybe didn't take that quite seriously enough and decided that they would expedite their passports to have them in their hand by the time that we hopped on the plane to travel to Japan. And one person did not make it. Their passport arrived the day we left for Japan. So they were not able to go with us on the plane. They actually made their own arrangements at their own expense to join us in Japan. So they were able to go on the trip. They just weren't able to go with us. And I think it cost them an extra $2,700 in order to go on the trip. So that's your warning. Make sure that you don't wait until the last minute to get an expedited passport. It does not work. Put it in this week. Get it in your hand. Make sure, I'll also tell you, and I'm going to tell you this at every single meeting, every single time, your name on the account in EF matches your name on the passport. So I go by Liz Schmidt. Everyone knows me by Liz. In EF Tours, when I signed up as Liz Schmidt. EF Tours books, or we're going to book all of my airplane tickets under Liz Schmidt, because that's what I signed up as. My passport says Elizabeth K. Schmidt, because that's my legal name. So I had to go in and call EF and say, hey, make sure you switch it. It's got to be Elizabeth K. So that it matches my passport, because EF doesn't know any different. Go ahead, Amy.
I just wanted to say too, not just on the getting the passport, but on the other end, is there not a requirement that your passport cannot expire any sooner than 6 months prior to your dates of travel?
Yes, that is
which seems
really
crazy,
good.
but 6 months sounds like a long time, but check the date. If you already have a passport, check the date on it, because if it is set to expire more or sooner than 6 months prior to when we travel, you need to get your passport renewed at that point too. Sooner.
Yes, that's my passport expires on November 30th, 2024.
Ooh,
August, September.
get on that.
Yep, I got to get on that. I got to get a new passport. Thanks,
Or
Amy.
Amy and I are going to lead the
reminder. Yep. So it has to be valid for the next 6 months. So November is only 4 months after July. So I'm going to have to get myself a new passport prior to that. That stinks. Do I have to turn it in? I have all those stamps.
Oh, I don't know if you have to turn it in. We actually have a couple other questions, Liz.
They'll return it to you with a hole punched in it or something. You'll get it back as a keepsake. So
good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right.
Do you want me to read them to you, or can you see them?
Oh wait, hold on. Timetable expiration. Yes. Okay, so that's good. We got that. I'm going to catch up, but you read the first one to me.
Okay, so Sophia asked if we could use life jackets during snorkeling, which I believe is a yes, but that made me think, should we be thinking about bringing our own life jackets and packing anything like that?
That is a good question. I know that the boats that we do the transfers on have life jackets, so we'll be wearing life jackets on all of those boats. Life jackets are pretty bulky, so I will find out from our tour guide and from some folks that went on this trip already if they provide life jackets. I know that you can rent wetsuits, because the water temperature is going to be very similar to the air temperature, so it's not going to be like a super tropical situation. It's going to be like in the low 70s. So I know that you can rent wetsuits, and there's a good chance that life jackets are going to be there too, but I will definitely find out the answer, because that's a good question.
Awesome.
I wonder if you could just wear one like a vest as your like coat on the plane.
I guess we'll find out.
You could, maybe. Extra immunizations when we need to travel here? Not that I am aware of. That's also a very good question. I'm going to also find the answer to that. But if you have a doctor's appointment between now and then, you should probably ask your doctor if they recommend anything. I know that like traveling to places like Panama occasionally, and Costa Rica and Belize sometimes require malaria, which is kind of a hardcore immunization. So I'm hoping we don't need that. I don't think that we do, but I will find that information out for you as well. That's a good question. Jean, the trip is only scouts. Yep. So we're not going to open it up. We have enough folks to keep it private. So this question is stemming because at one point, so the EF group is split into tours for girls, which is Girl Scouts, obviously, and then the educational side of it. And the tours for girls got rid of the Galapagos trip. Like, unless you request it specifically, I don't think it's an offering anymore for girls, like a tour for girls trip, but it is for education. So if we didn't have enough people to make it private, the question was, would you be willing to open it up to like students to come on your trip as well? But we said, no, we're not doing that. We're going to keep it private, and we have enough people to do so. So I don't envision that changing at all. And actually it won't change because I already said no. So there you go. There's that. Table, yes, expiration date. That's a really good point, Amy. And note to myself, because mine expires sadly before it needs to. Curses. Oh, well, it was a good 10 years, right? It's fine. All right, so that's it for the meetings. Like I said, if you have something specific, and I really am going to ask for your help for the animals. So in January, when we have our January meeting, January, what's it going to be? 14th. Everybody think of their favorite animal that they want to see when they're there, and let's talk about them. So keep that in the back of your mind. And the next meeting, I'll remind you to do a little bit of homework as well. Any other questions, comments, concerns before we keep going here? No, perfect. All right, so here is the holiday gift guide. So here's some must-haves for your trip. As I mentioned, Chivas or Chacos. I never was a Chaco girl, and then I lived in Texas for a little while, and they didn't know what a Tiva was. They only wore Chacos. So maybe it's like an East-West Coast kind of thing. But they're both very good sandals, water shoes or comfy walking shoes of some kind as well. So always the tip on these trips is bring enough shoes to switch them out. So you know, if you have Tivas and then you wear sneakers and then you wear Tivas and then you wear sneakers, because that'll give them time to dry. It'll give time for your feet to sort of recover from that type of shoe and that sort of thing. So sandals, sand cloud or other quick dry towels. So I don't know if you're familiar with that type of towel, but it's really thin, like a Turkish towel is what I'm talking about. And they dry very quickly and they roll up very small. So my plan is to bring 2 or 3 sand cloud kind of towels in my luggage and just kind of roll them up nice and small. The other really cool thing about those is that they are good for shawls. Like if you get cold, I used mine as a blanket when I was on the bus in Greece. Because it's not really towel-like, it's more blanket-like. So that's a good thing to have. So here's the big reveal, folks. Carry on only. We're not checking bags on this trip. That is my rule. Everyone who's been on a trip with me knows that that's my rule. On the way home, however, you are more than welcome to check. I check my bags on the way home. I know Amy will attest to this, but
I will say I was nervous at first when we were doing Italy and Greece. I was a little apprehensive about being able to do everything for that length of trip in a week and a half in one carry-on bag and a backpack. It worked fine. You can do it. So don't be intimidated by that. You totally can do it.
Yep, you can do it. The other thing about this trip is that it's a lot of bathing suit, right? Like we're going to be in bathing suits a lot. There's going to be a lot of like I plan on wearing just like those nondescript like shift dresses, the sleeveless ones with like just a shirt over the top of it. So we are going to talk about packing as we get a little bit closer. But if you are looking for a carry-on bag, I actually got it as a gift, Cotopaxi. So this is the Alpha, is that what it says? Alpha 35 liter. I brought this with me on my most recent trip and it was awesome. This thing opens up kind of like just a regular like sort of carry-on or roll-on, and it looks like a duffel bag, but it opens up in those two little sections. They are kind of expensive though, so I waited for a sweet deal when I got this backpack that goes along with it for free. It wasn't really free because the original backpack was kind of expensive, but still, it felt like I was getting a really good deal. It also comes with a rain cover, and it's pretty like waterproof as well. I usually take a carry-on rolling luggage with me when I go to like normal places. But if this falls off the boat and into the water, I'm hoping it'll be okay. So think about that when you're planning on your baggage for this kind of trip. A backpack of some kind might be better than a roll-on luggage. And you'll see in a picture that I have soon what the boats look like, and you'll see why this is a good recommendation. The other thing that I'll mention, nope, I won't, because I totally forgot what I was going to say. Oh, okay. So the other thing I was going to mention, EF Tours does give us all a backpack. So we'll get a backpack from EF Tours at the June meeting. I'll be handing it to you. A lot of the zippers broke on this last tour that we did. So it was good for the most part, but also kind of sketchy sometimes as well. There are times on this trip, and Amy's familiar with this, or Christy and Lily maybe. There are times on this trip where we're going to need a bag with a change of clothes and like your toiletries in it, because the luggage is staying back someplace. Because either the boat is too small, or it's, you know, like we're going back to the same hotel, but like 3 days later or 2 days later or whatever. So you are going to need to pack a backpack or a smaller day bag in your luggage so that you can use it when we skip the luggage days. So when the luggage goes before us or stays behind after us. So keep that in mind. You're going to need some kind of smaller backpack anyways. Poncho or raincoat, quick dry, you know, like a wind pants kind of material, that sort of thing. Sun hat with SPF, definitely if you can get your hands on it. And then I also had a really goofy hat when I was little, but it was really helpful with my whiteness, is the ones that have like the back flap that goes down over your neck. Those are really handy as well. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous about the sun situation on this trip because I burn very, very easily. So this should be, I don't know what's gonna happen. I gotta start thinking about it now though, 241 days in advance. Speaking of which, sunscreen and motion sickness tablets. I've had a lot of feedback from other group leaders about how to really like quell the motion sickness for the boat. So the weather is going to be great. It's going to be less humid. It's going to be a little bit cooler, but unfortunately that makes the seas a little bit more choppy. So the boat rides may be choppier than what you're used to. And we're going to be in the ocean, so remember that. But there's a plan. I have a plan for motion sickness, so don't worry about it. And as we get closer, I'm going to tell you what to buy and how to take it, and it's going to be great. Long sleeve, lightweight SPF shirts, if you can grab them, some sporty type bathing suits. And by that, I mean like bathing suits that you can move around in, right? So it doesn't really matter to me what kind of bathing suit you bring with you, as long as you are able to like move in it. If you're not constantly worrying about like pulling it up or pulling it down or whatever, just to like a nice, good fitting bathing suit that you can move around in and play in. A good water bottle, and by that I mean one that holds ice. So I love my Nalgene's. I have like 75 different Nalgene's. I have a problem, I admit it fully, but they're not insulated. So when we went into some of these trips where it was super hot, my water was warm like immediately. So if you enjoy icy cold water, make sure you get yourself a good insulated water bottle, and of course sunglasses.
Amy had a great question about the water bottle in the chat. How does the water bottle work with the 8-ounce requirement?
Oh, that's a great question. So when you go to the airport, it's going to be empty. So you're just going to put it in your bag. You're not going to have any water in it. It's going to be an empty water bottle. It doesn't matter if it's metal or plastic. The type of water bottle doesn't care. They don't care, as long as it's empty when you're going through TSA. As soon as you get through TSA into like the main part of the airport where you're going to get on the plane, you can fill it and you can keep it on the airplane filled and all that jazz. But every time you go through security, it has to be emptied. So just keep that in mind. Also, if you have one that has a straw, like a flip up straw, which I did, the pressure of the airplane will make the water shoot out into your face and all over your body if you're in the air and you try to take a drink out of it. So keep that in mind as well. That was a fun surprise for me and my person sitting next to me that I did not know. It's fine. They're fine. It's all right. The other thing I want to bring up, and Chrissy, I think I'm going to use you Chrissy and Lily. Let me see here. Is my like little thing here. All right. So check this out. Can you see this Liliana's fundraising page? Did it share or no? Yes? Okay. So you have in your account a fundraising page. So, you know, if you have grandma who lives in Florida that you're not going to see over the holidays, but she really wants to get you something and you're not really sure what, you can copy a link. You can copy this link and share it. It'll copy it to the clipboard. You can email it to whoever you want to, and they can actually contribute personally to your trip. So let's see, make a contribution down here. This is what happens. They can contribute any amount that they want to. You can stay anonymous, you don't have to, etc., and they will take your payment. So this is a really good way for you to, especially over the holiday season, fingers crossed someday my kids will travel and I don't have to purchase Legos anymore because I have to buy another Lego thing. I'm just gonna, if you don't want stuff, have them contribute to your trip. It's a great way to raise money. So there you go. Thanks, Liliana, for letting us check out your contribution page here.
In the chat, Amy would like to know if we are already signed up for this trip and EF Tours so we can start providing the info they require.
Oh, like you yourself as the chaperones, you mean? No, you yourself are not. I got to send you the link after this meeting. All right. That's a good question because no, you're not. All right. So stop share, but I want to reshare. So hold on 1 second. Yes. That's a good, feel free to contribute as a demonstration, she said. Smart. I'm not falling for it though. All right, so there's that. Any questions, comments about the must-haves? I would also recommend like a brick charger, you know, one of the brick chargers that you can carry around and plug in. I don't know right now, I can't remember, I didn't Google if we need a charger, what do they call them? An exchanger? That's not it. Transfer? I don't know. You know what I mean though.
Converter, adapter, or something like that.
Yeah, the converter.
For the electric outlets, yeah.
You guys, you knew it though, because I was doing the 3-prong thing, right? So I don't think you need one of those, but if you do, that's always a good thing to have on the list as well. And of course there will be other things, but like who wants to get, I don't know, Dramamine in their stocking on Christmas morning? If you're that kind of person, yeah, Serafina, yes, me please. So there you go. All right, what's next here? Oh, okay, so this is just some interesting, I just thought this was interesting. I totally just copied and pasted from my Facebook page that I was in earlier. This is a person who went recently to the Galapagos and came home from the trip, and these are just some tips. So as we get closer, I'll be sharing these types of things from folks that have been there. Hydro flask, like I said, prepare to wear your swimsuit and cover up the whole day. Swimsuit and like a dress of some kind or like a little shift dress kind of thing. Snacks, moisture-wicking clothing. Don't flush the toilet paper. That's good to know. So that was the same in Greece because we're going to islands and I imagine that they're just rocks that we're going to be on the whole time. They probably don't have an intricate septic system like we do, some of us do here in the States. So I imagine we're not going to be flushing anything down the toilet. So just keep that in mind. Lots of waking up early. They really could not say that more often, that like we're looking at getting on the boat at like 5 o'clock in the morning to make transfers, that kind of thing. So that's what I mean by, you know, early days. This person I think went in February, on February break though, so sweaty and hot might not apply to us, but there will be a lot of walking. So there you go. Anyways, like I said, I'll be having more of these tips and tricks as we get closer to the trip. Oh, there's the boat. All right, here's the boat. See it? I don't know what you were thinking when I was saying boat, but this is it. It looks pretty sturdy. I think we're going to be okay. Maybe. Uncertain. They do this all the time and it's going to be great. Here's another picture of the boat. See? Very nice. Not too shabby, right? These are all adults, and so that's why they're not wearing life jackets. But if they were kids, they would definitely be wearing life jackets. And then here is a picture of the luggage at the end of the boat. So all the people are on the front of the boat, And this would be the luggage that they have piled up at the back of the boat. So yeah, so that's just a quick snippet, a little picture of what we're going to be looking at. If you have a piece of luggage that looks like that, and that's what my luggage looks like for just general trips, it's fine. It's fine. If you prefer a backpack or something, like I said, that's an option as well. So anyways, that's it. Are you ready? I'm ready. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait to go on this trip with you all. And as we go through and like as it gets into spring and that sort of thing, even more folks from this group that I'm a part of for EF Tours will be coming home from this trip. So we'll have updated information, updated excitement to get us ready and to get us going. Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns right now, 241 days out before we call it a night? All right. So our next meeting is December 10th, 7 p.m. Oh, okay. So I also have to tell you, I did start a second Facebook group because I forgot that I started the first Facebook group. So sorry about that confusion. There are 2 Facebook groups. So I may just continue posting in both of them just to make sure. There's 31 people in the first one and like 17 people in the second one. So if you're in the first one, and I know some of you have been like, go to the other group, like push people to go to the other group. But I'll just be posting in all the Facebook groups because I thought I was so good. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna start this Facebook group. I already did. I'm so good. I knew it. Whatever, it's fine. So I'm going to post this recording link in there. I'll post the next meeting links in that group as well. And just keep watching the Facebook group for tips and tricks and that. So there you go. Serafina, Amy, Holly, anything? Nope. All right. So get swimming. And we'll see you on December 10th. Same time, same place. All right. Take care, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you in about a month. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.
Can you send me your backpack and your like duffel bag?
The link to it?
Yeah, or like whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm. Cotopaxi? Yes, I will.
I was like, I can't even spell that. I don't even know.
Yep, I'll send you the link. And they have some pretty good ones. Like this one was definitely expensive, but
Well, right before this meeting, I was like, oh, for Christmas, I want like a new backpacking backpack that I anticipated bringing on this trip, but then yours looked really cool. So then I was like, oh.
yeah, they're super cool. The sad thing about it is that you can pick your own colors. So there's like 60 different color schemes that you can choose. And I already regret mine, but you know, yeah, and they do have like deals. You can get like that little backpack was like $60 if I bought it separately, but it was free. So I think they have a lot of stuff over Christmas time.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Awesome.
Good. All right. Are you working tomorrow or no?
Yeah, no, yep, I'm good.
Okay. Very good. I should probably stop recording. Nope.
Oh.
Where's the stop recording button? Oh,
I think if you click leave, you can like end the recording.